Hi, this is Jill Riley, and I am the communication assistant for the PAC Northwest Conference. And I am excited today to introduce you and me to Jeanette Conver. Hi, Jeanette.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Congratulations on this is kind of a new job for you too, right?
It is,
Well,
yes. Well,
congratulations.
since January.
Yeah.
So Jeanette is the lead pastor of Clear Lake Covenant Church. And tell us where Clear Lake is at.
It is it is about an hour or so south of Bellingham, Skagit County, near Anacortes, Lucanor, Mount Vernon, Cedro-Woolley,
So how long have you been there?
just since the beginning of December. So
Wonderful,
I
wonderful.
am just getting acculturated here. I haven't been here through all the seasons yet, so it's an exploration to figure it out.
Yes. Well,
I'm a missionary kid, so I've been a bunch of places.
okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about your family.
So my parents were missionaries to mainland China, and they left during the revolution. So my parents were working on a Bible translation of an indigenous people group from China, and they continued that translation work in Thailand, where I was born after they went back to Thailand. And so
Tell us a little bit about your family now.
my family now, my kids are spread all over. My twin daughters, my youngest, are doing a Bible translation project in Thailand for an indigenous people group across the river. And they've been working on it about 10 years, and we miss them terribly. They're blonde and tall and thin, so you can imagine
So
the
they stand
comments.
out there.
Yes, they do. People make comments like, do they have any blood in their body? They're just so pale. And my second son is living in Salt Lake City, and he works with adult learners who want to go back to college or graduate school, loves his work. And then my eldest son and his wife, he's a lawyer. When he graduated from Georgetown, he and his wife did some work in India, in Mumbai, with International Justice Mission. Right now, he does public interest law, and they have two adopted wonderful grandkids. So I started out, my husband and I joined Wycliffe Bible Translators to do a Bible translation project. We worked on that. We were unable to go overseas because our daughters were unable to get all their baby shots. So it's really ironic the way full circle. Now they are the ones doing the Bible translation in the same area of the people group we were working with as well, although we were working here. Um, so I was diagnosed with cancer when my girls were very young, preschool age. And that kind of sidetracked me from the Bible translation project. I tried to do language learning and so forth. But what was most in front of me was Camp Covenant Church and ministry opportunities that they kept inviting me into. First women's ministry, and then serving on the first leadership team of the church, and then I was invited to be on staff as an associate pastor. I graduated from seminary remotely, having intensives in Chicago, but doing most of the work remotely. And I graduated summer of 2017 and was called immediately to be the first woman lead pastor in Covenant Church in Vermont. And I was there for 5 years. And then my role seems to be first woman pastor. So that's what I am here too.
That's
And
wonderful. So let me ask you something. What do you think is the biggest obstacle before women in being lead pastors?
oh my goodness. Well, some of it is our own self identity. It's like having not seen a lot of examples of lead women pastors, it's hard to imagine ourselves in that role.
Mhm.
And sometimes it takes a push to say, you can do that. And that's what happened at North Park. They have this kind of dating game for pastors where you meet with all the covenant leaders, all the seniors in seminary. And the person in my first group um, was Howard Burgoyne from the East Coast Conference. And I was just feeling so out of place. All of these young people that were graduating, and here I am, this old lady. And he looked at me and he said, "You have so much to offer with experience and wisdom.
Mm.
I can see you being a lead pastor." And it's like, wow, okay. And he didn't stop recruiting me until I said yes to the church in Vermont. It was his affirming. I mean, I know I have wisdom and experience, but I also know that it's hard. The other hard thing about women is other people's perception, because there are not many women lead pastors, or even in this area, women pastors at all.
Right.
And
So what
so,
can we do to elevate this conversation for women that are coming behind us?
well, I absolutely have loved the role of opening doors for younger women coming along. And then I get to coach. I took the coaching class and I get to coach people, coached in the preaching cohort and vitality cohorts. And it was a great joy to meet with women who just stepped into that role, and to see their, you're not supposed to give advice in this coaching model that I've been a
Right.
part of, but it was kind of a mix of that, because I could say, I've tried this. What does that what does that make you think of? How does that spark your imagination? So it was kind
Right.
of a backwards way of sparking their own creativity. Um, but even harder still is changing the minds of congregations, because I think that male pastors who are supportive and lovely, they don't have the same sense of urgency of changing people's minds. Kind of like when you have a privileged position, you don't know what it looks like to not be there, right?
Right, to be on the other side of that. Well,
Yeah.
I think Howard was right. You have many gifts to offer, and I'm so glad you're in the Pacific Northwest Conference. Before we go, a couple of questions. Who is your favorite author?
Oh, it changes. I have a bunch. Right now, it's my favorite preachers. I love Dr. Tom Long and Barbara Brown Taylor, and wow, of course, everybody says C.S. Lewis,
Mhm.
Dorothy Sayers. I don't know. I've got stacks and stacks of books that I'm sort of.
I was just gonna say, is your book stack like mine and just a little daunting, just one bite at a time? So what do you do for fun and to reset your soul?
Um, it is absolutely wonderful to be able to hike and to be out in nature. That is essential. And that was the only thing I think that saved my husband and my life during COVID. When we were isolated, we would get out into hiking, into nature once a week on a Sunday afternoon. And Vermont is a lovely place to do that.
Right.
And so is Skagit County.
Well, Jeanette, it is my pleasure to meet you and greet you. And I'm sure other people are anxious to get to know more about you. And we will put a link on how to get a hold of you. And thank you for your time.
Sure. Thank you, Jill.